Chapter 46. Surprise. Muyan flower. The bed of flowers that the red-scaled porcupine was eating was actually a patch of muyan flowers. Even though most of the muyan flowers had yet to bloom, the sight of them gathered together was extremely spectacular. One would be charmed at a glance. However, presently, the flowers that were emanating a strong medicinal fragrance were being munched on by the red-scaled porcupine. The stalks of the muyan flower that had yet to bloom were either devoured by the red-scaled porcupine or broken and fallen to the ground. Roots, buds, were either stained with mud or stepped into the ground. Instead of eating, it would be more accurate to say that the red-scaled porcupine was destroying things. This big fellow was completely doing this out of sudden interest and wantonly destroyed the muyan flowers. Su Jingxing, who had finally made it here after much difficulty, cried out in alarm as he struck with lightning speed. Swish, swish, swish. 3 throwing daggers tore through the air and shot towards the eyes of the red-scaled porcupine with a cold aura. This was the only weakness of the red-scaled porcupine. The throwing daggers sliced across the air and arrived instantly. Clang tilde. The sound of metal colliding resounded in the area. The red-scaled porcupine closed its eyes a second before the throwing daggers struck its eyes. The throwing daggers, which carried Su Jingxing's more than 10,000 catties of Su Jingxing's strength and could penetrate through a wall, did not pierce through the red-scaled porcupine's eyelids. It only produced a string of sparks before being bounced away. The same went for the next 2 throwing daggers. Clang, clang. With crisp sounds, Su Jingxing's attacks were easily blocked by the red-scaled porcupine. Fortunately, this sudden attack made the red-scaled porcupine stop destroying the muyan flowers and turn around to stare at Su Jingxing. When it got a clear look of Su Jingxing's appearance, its red eyes instantly became round, and unconcealed killing intent shot out of it. Grunt grunt. The red-scaled porcupine's 4 limbs dug into the ground. It lowered its head slightly and aimed its 2 sharp tusks at Su Jingxing. The next moment. Rumble. The red-scaled porcupine dashed on all 4 limbs. Its massive body was like a train as it charged towards Su Jingxing with a terrifying aura. It treaded on the ground with dull thuds, trampling countless flowers. Swoosh, swoosh. Su Jingxing executed the 8 steps rising dragon and his body flickered left and right. A second before the red-scaled porcupine got close, he abruptly dodged. Aiming at the red-scaled porcupine's eyes from the side, he landed a harsh punch. Ah! A miserable scream came from the red-scaled porcupine's mouth. Its body that was a hill of flesh, under the 50,000 catties of tremendous force, starting with its upper body, began to fall to the side. Boom. The ground shook. A red-scaled porcupine with an exploded eyeball laid on its back, howling in pain. Across the river. The white goose was stunned. The huge creature that it had fought for countless rounds, but could not do anything to was actually beaten down. All it took was a strike and it had lost its mobility. Collapsed on the ground, it was howling non-stop. The scene shocked the white goose so deeply that it forgot everything else and stood rooted to the ground. Thump, thump, thump. The red-scaled porcupine rolled on the ground, its heavy body crushing the ground, making loud noises. Amidst its cries, it didn't forget Su Jingxing. After rolling out for dozens of meters and crushing a large patch of flowers, the red-scaled porcupine stood up again. With its remaining eye, it stared fixedly at Su Jingxing. Then. Rumble. The red-scaled porcupine charged again. It lowered its head and rushed towards Su Jingxing with its tusks. However, just as it was getting close, the red-scaled porcupine suddenly shook its head. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Amidst the howling wind, sharp spikes of hair shot out from the neck of the red-scaled porcupine and rained down on Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing, who had been prepared for this, stepped back repeatedly, flashing left and right. The spikes of hair brushed past Su Jingxing and flew away. Turned its hair into spikes to attack its target. This was one of the abilities of the red-scaled porcupine. Its crimson scales had invincible defense. Its hair was also extremely stiff, and the head of the hair was very penetrative. If struck, even steel could be penetrated. Su Jingxing had thought of this ability and prepared himself the moment he saw the red-scaled porcupine. Therefore, he was not caught off guard and avoided the attack perfectly according to the plan. After dodging the attack, his body flickered and the red-scaled porcupine missed again. At the same time, he took out a fake tooth and threw it out like a throwing dagger. His target was the injured eye of the red-scaled porcupine. Pooh! After the venomous fake tooth entered the eye socket of the red-scaled porcupine, it exploded immediately. The venom inside quickly invaded the porcupine's body. Ah! Almost instantly, the red-scaled porcupine collapsed to the ground with a loud bang. Its huge body crushed a large patch of grass. Just like before, it continued rolling. However, this time, the frequency of its rolling was extremely intense, making it seem as if it had gone crazy. Once the poison entered its body, the red-scaled porcupine's terrifying defense immediately lost its effect. The more it rolled, the louder it howled, and the faster the poison spread. After a few moments, the red-scaled porcupine slowed down and its miserable cries gradually softened. Black blood flowed out from its hideous mouth. Then, its eyes, ears, and nose also began to bleed black blood. The red-scaled porcupine that was on all fours continued to twitch until it finally stopped moving. In the end, the poison had entered its heart and killed it. The red-scaled porcupine, whose defense could not be broken through in a short period of time, even with bullets, had died under the 2 drops of venom. The lethality of this poison could be imagined. Across the river, the white goose continued to be shaken. Su Jingxing took a deep breath and looked at the poisoned red-scaled porcupine. He found it quite a pity. Red-scaled porcupine flesh was extremely delicious and contained rich energy. It was a great supplement for martial artists and could boost their internal force. The red scales on the outside were even rarer. If peeled off and refined into an armor, even a 6th-grade martial artist would not be able to break it. Unfortunately, it had been poisoned to death. The flesh was not edible, and removing the scales was very troublesome. Su Jingxing didn't bring any dissection tools either. He thought for a moment and ultimately gave up. However, he could not let those 2 tusks slip. They were also good stuff. Su Jingxing clapped his hands and exhaled. He regained his composure and slowly walked towards the red-scaled porcupine's corpse. Mutated beast corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it? A notification popped up in his mind. Su Jingxing, who had already walked to the red-scaled porcupine's side, could not help but stiffen. The next moment. Animal corpses can be extracted too. No, this should be the corpse of a mutated beast. Can I extract a card from it as well? Su Jingxing was pleasantly surprised. Who would have thought that the corpses of mutated beasts can be extracted? Before this, Su Jingxing had gone close to animal corpses before. However, there was no notification from the cheat ability. This gave Su Jingxing the impression that his cheat ability was only effective against humans and not animals. Now he understood. It was not ineffective against all animals. The corpses of mutated beasts that had gained sentience could also be extracted. Yes. Su Jingxing took deep breaths to calm himself down and responded. In the next moment, a card appeared in his pocket. Su Jingxing's expression changed slightly. His hand slowly reached into his pocket and drew out 3 cards. That's right, 3 cards. Not 1, but 3. He extracted 3 cards from the red-scaled porcupine. Before this, Su Jingxing could only extract 1 card each time. Why are there 3 cards this time? Is it because it is a mutated beast? Su Jingxing wondered. After pondering for a long time, he still could not figure it out, so he could only put it aside for the time being. So be it. Having more cards is not a bad thing. Su Jingxing took a deep breath and calmed his mind. He held the cards in his hand and read the information. Golden body card. The 3 cards were the same. They were all golden body cards. After unlocking the golden body card, one would be able to obtain a powerful energy that would fill their entire body, making their physical defense invincible. To put it bluntly, it was to inherit the terrifying defense of the red-scaled porcupine. However, this energy could only last for 10 minutes before one would return to normal. The 3 cards contained the same duration. 10 minutes per card, a total of half an hour. The golden body cards were pretty good. 10 minutes was neither long nor short. If Su Jingxing really encounters a powerful enemy, these 10 minutes would be enough for him to run far away. On the other hand, if the 3 cards were combined into one to give 30 minutes at one, it could possibly be wasted. After arriving at this conclusion, Su Jingxing put away the cards with satisfaction. If he could extract multiple function cards from every mutated beast's corpse, he would make a killing. Su Jingxing subconsciously glanced at the white goose across the river. The white goose that was in a daze suddenly sobered up. With a cry, it flapped its wings and flew into the sky, escaping backwards. So sharp. Su Jingxing chuckled. This spiritual beast had very keen senses. He had only revealed a bit of malice, but it had sensed it immediately and flown away. That posture. Suddenly, a thought struck Su Jingxing. He locked his eyes on the white goose and watched its flying figure. The image slowly overlapped with the shadow in his mind. It really is it. Su Jingxing smiled. This white goose was the bird that had peeked at Su Jingxing last night. Birds that knew how to fly could easily climb over a 1,000-meter high cliff. Let alone a spiritual bird. The white goose was the spiritual bird from last night. Su Jingxing now had some intention of subduing it. But Su Jingxing also knew that it was very difficult to subdue a spiritual beast. He couldn't force it. Compared to a living spiritual pet, a few function cards that came from the abilities of the spiritual beasts were nothing. With this in mind, Su Jingxing retracted his gaze and his hands used force to pull out two sharp tusks from the red-scaled porcupine's head. These two tusks could easily be sold for 5 million great dollars. However, Su Jingxing did not want to expose his strength for the time being. He could only save the money after selling it in any case. Therefore, he decided to keep the tusks for now. Of course, he would not hide them in this valley. Instead, he would bring them out and hide them outside the Green Cloud mountain range. He would dig them out when he needed them. It was too troublesome to enter and leave this valley. Having made up his mind, Su Jingxing returned to the place where the muyan flowers grew. Due to the timely intervention, the red-scaled porcupine did not destroy too many muyan flowers. It was just that none of the flowers had bloomed. They were either still growing, or were still flower buds. Su Jingxing looked around and finally found a stalk of muyan flower that was about to bloom. Before coming here, Su Jingxing had gone online to check. Once the muyan flowers enters its blooming stage, blooming would be completed within 3 days. Therefore, Su Jingxing still had time to wait for the flowers to bloom. Presently, he settled down next to this stalk of muyan flower. While protecting it, he developed his night vision secret ability. The food in his backpack was enough to last 3 days, saving Su Jingxing the time to look for food. All this time saved was used to develop night vision. From time to time, he would take an essence energy pill to replenish his energy. Soon, the sun set and the valley fell into silence. The strange thing was that some of the flowers and bushes could actually glow under the moonlight. The colorful glows showed a different side of the silent valley from its spectacular scene in the day. Su Jingxing stopped developing his night vision. He stood up and looked around, feeling as if he was in a dream world. Beautiful. Some of the small animals that had been hiding during the day leapt and sparkled in the sea of flowers. The silent valley presented another vibrant world of life. Su Jingxing soon found that the white goose that escaped had returned to the other side of the river. As usual, it squatted in the grass and secretly watched Su Jingxing. Its gaze was curious, puzzled, and surprised. Su Jingxing didn't disturb it this time and let it stare as much as it wanted. To subdue a spiritual pet, one had to be patient. He activated his internal force and continued to develop his night vision while keeping an eye on his surroundings. Even though night in the valley was equally beautiful and magnificent, as dreamy as the sea, the killing intent was even greater than during the day. From time to time, Su Jingxing would hear the shrill cries of small animals or the sounds of rapid movement and fighting. Even in the river, there were fish attacking each other, creating splashes now and then. But the spot where Su Jingxing was keeping guard was quiet. As expected, the aura of the red-scaled porcupine was still lingering around. Other life forms did not dare to approach. The red-scaled porcupine had just died, and its body was still intact. The aura of a savage beast could last for 3 to 5 days. This saved Su Jingxing a lot of trouble. As for the white goose across the river, it was also safe and sound. Spiritual beasts were also mutated beasts. Other animals would avoid it like plague. Therefore, apart from the areas where Su Jingxing and the white goose were that were silent from time to time, noises could be heard from other places in the valley. The commotions lasted for half the night before they gradually disappeared. The white goose that had peeked at Su Jingxing for a good half of the night also retreated slightly and slept in a nest of grass. Su Jingxing noticed it but didn't do anything such as going over to catch it. In short, the white goose was very perceptive. Su Jingxing believed that if he made use of his sprint to jump across the river, the white goose would definitely wake up immediately and escape. To attract spiritual beasts, one must not use force. Naturally, Su Jingxing would not do such a stupid thing. Since the white goose was sleeping, he would let it sleep. If he could really subdue a spiritual bird this time, that would naturally be for the best. If he doesn't succeed, Su Jingxing wouldn't be discouraged either. If he had guessed correctly, the white goose probably lives in this valley. Since Su Jingxing knew where it lived, he would come over when he had the time in the future to catch up with it and build a relationship. Therefore, there was no hurry. What's that? Suddenly, Su Jingxing focused his gaze and looked at the white goose across the river. The white goose was emitting a hazy silver glow. The glow was very weak at first, but it slowly became brighter. The area of coverage also expanded. With the white goose as the center, it grew from a radius of 1 to 2 meters, it gradually expanded to 3 to 4 meters, 7 to 8 meters, then 10 meters. Until it crossed the river. Su Jingxing's area was also covered. Su Jingxing, who didn't sense danger, remained in his spot. Then, swoosh! A beam of light suddenly appeared in Su Jingxing's bosom as well. What's going on? Startled, Su Jingxing opened his shirt and looked inside. He saw that the 8-step Rising Dragon secret manual that he had carried on him was glowing. A weak golden red glow. A glowing secret manual. Su Jingxing was surprised and bewildered. It's not a mutation. Su Jingxing regained his composure and took out the secret manual to examine it carefully. Soon, he found the source. The last page of the secret manual was emitting a golden red glow. Under the faint golden red radiance, some ancient characters had appeared on the blank last page. However, they were very vague and unclear. What's going on? It has been more than a day or two since I obtained the 8 Steps Ascending Dragon secret manual. Why did it glow today, but never before? Could it be? Su Jingxing shifted his gaze from the secret manual to the white goose across the river. Could it be because of the silvery white light that the white goose is radiating? Su Jingxing clenched his fist subconsciously and looked surprised. Otherwise, it would be impossible to explain the changes on the last page of the secret manual. This had never happened before. But this time, it had. This guess was easy to verify. Su Jingxing stepped back with the 8-step Rising Dragon secret manual in hand, until he left the area covered by the silvery white light. Then, he checked the last page of the secret manual again. As expected, the page had lost its glow and recovered its previous yellowish hue. The reason was indeed the silvery white glow emitted by the white goose. This glow had a unique effect. It revealed some things that normally couldn't be seen. Innate divine power. Su Jingxing started working his brains. As expected, this glow was the white goose's innate divine power. As for the last page of the 8-step Rising Dragon secret manual, it was obvious that it had been tampered with. The ancestors of the Wei family had left a secret spell like invisibility on it. If not for the white goose's silvery white glow, this secret spell might have lasted forever, and no one would know what was on the last page of the manual. With this thought in mind, Su Jingxing held the manual and returned to the area shrouded in the silvery white radiance. He walked forward slowly and observed the contents on the last page. As expected, the closer he got to the white goose, the clearer the contents of the manual became. When Su Jingxing was half a meter away from the river, the contents of the last page were already clear. 9 steps trampling heaven. On the last page, 4 ancient characters appeared. 9 steps trampling heaven, a martial art. Wei Jiajia had once mentioned that the Wei family possessed 3 ultimate techniques. 7 steps fist, 8 steps rising dragon, and 9 steps something. The 7th and 8th were preserved, but the 9th was lost. She didn't even know what it was called. Now he did, 9 steps trampling heaven. The martial art that the Wei family had approached a few generations of martial artists to inquire about but failed to learn, was actually recorded on the last page of the 8 Steps Rising Dragon secret manual. No, this isn't right. Su Jingxing quickly checked the contents of the last page and frowned slightly. What was recorded here was not information about the 9 steps trampling heaven. It was a map. The map of where the true secret manual of the 9 steps trampling heaven was hidden. The words were stating why the 9 steps trampling heaven had been hidden away. It turned out that the Wei family's ancestors had encountered a crisis of extermination. In order to leave behind their inheritance, they separated the 3 ultimate techniques and allowed the 3 Wei family descendants to escape with one each. Among them, the 9 steps trampling heaven was taken by the patriarch's son. Splitting to 3 different routes, they escaped separately and successfully protected the Wei family's legacy. Several decades later, the 3 descendants of the Wei family found each other and reunited. However, just in case another incident of family extermination occurred, they found a place to hide the most important, 9 steps trampling heaven. Using a secret spell, they recorded the location on the last page of the 8 Steps Rising Dragon. As for how to get the recorded information to show, there was also a description on it. Mix the blood of the Wei family with some herbs and the contents will appear. Of course, in actual practice, they would not reveal it until they're on their deathbed. However, there were always exceptions to everything. The Wei family still encountered change subsequently. As time passed, there would always be accidents. Those who in the know died before they could share the information. In the end, this information was clearly lost. The Wei family's ancestors failed to pass on this important piece of information. The 9 steps trampling heaven was lost ever since. As for the white goose's silvery white glow, the Wei family's ancestors were completely unaware of it. So, Su Jingxing got a good deal. He got the 8 steps rising dragon from Wei Jiajia, and now with the help of the white goose, he coincidentally saw the contents of the last page of the secret manual. Su Jingxing immediately opened his backpack and took out a pen and paper to copy the map in detail. The 9 steps trampling heaven, no matter what martial art it was, Su Jingxing had made a killing. 7 steps fist, 8 steps rising dragon, 9 steps trampling heaven. The ancestors of the Wei family were quite interesting. All 3 of their ultimate techniques were executed using a certain number of steps. After Su Jingxing was done with the map, hid it on himself. This was a pleasant surprise. Wei Jiajia would never have dreamed that she had given both the 8 steps rising dragon and also the long-lost 9 steps trampling heaven for a deal. That's right, Su Jingxing didn't intend to tell Wei Jiajia about the existence of the 9 steps trampling heaven. Firstly, this was Su Jingxing's steal. Secondly, would Wei Jiajia still give Su Jingxing the 9 steps trampling heaven once she learns about this? Obviously not. Since she wouldn't, why would Su Jingxing tell her? Su Jingxing didn't want to take it by force by then and cross his own bottom line. Finally, the Wei family valued the 9 steps trampling heaven so much. If he were to tell Wei Jiajia, given her current strength, she would not be able to guard it well. Rather than having a huge mess then, it would be better for her to remain oblivious and continue leading a peaceful life. It was better to let him bear the blessings and disasters of the 9 steps trampling heaven. Cough. Cough. Having made up his mind, Su Jingxing put away the 8 steps rising dragon secret manual and returned to his original spot to sit down. He continued to guard the Muyan flower and also developed his night vision. In the evening of the next day, this stalk of Muyan flower successfully bloomed. Su Jingxing took out the box that he had prepared beforehand, plucked the Muyan flower and placed it inside. After covering it, he also hid it close to his body to prevent it from falling. When dawn broke, he waved goodbye to the white goose that had been watching him across the river. He would return to this valley. The white goose's innate divine power was also very special. If he could take it as a spiritual pet, it would certainly be of great help. Su Jingxing smiled. He left the valley the same way he entered. He put on the steel claws and used the 8 steps rising dragon to step on the steep rock face and climb up the 1,000-meter cliff. Then, he dashed down all the way to return to the forest at the very beginning. Once he was back in the forest, it became much more convenient. He first found a hidden corner and buried the red-scaled porcupine's tusks. After that, he sped up and used half a day to leave the Green Cloud mountain range. He rushed to the forestry town at the foot of the mountain and took the last bus back to Qinghai City. At this point, his timing was just right. Back at his small courtyard, Su Jingxing put down his backpack. He took a shower and then prepared to go out for a good dinner. Unexpectedly, Ji Yubo's call suddenly came in. Little Su, come to the crematorium immediately. There's an urgent task. What task? Su Jingxing was curious. Another branch of the Black Tiger gang has been wiped out. Yet another one. Su Jingxing was starting to sympathize with the Black Tiger gang. The faction that Duan Feihong belonged to was too arrogant. The joint operation by the Martial Suppression Office, the Public Security Team, and the Prefecture Army had not been called off. Yet they had come out again to exterminate another branch of the Black Tiger gang. Such unbridled actions showed a clear disregard for the Martial Suppression Office. Do you really think you're invincible? Su Jingxing cursed silently to himself. He responded and asked Ji Yubo to wait by the roadside while he headed over directly. Fortunately, he removed his makeup and human skin mask when he was showering. Otherwise, it would take him more time. When he headed out, he took out the last spirit accumulation pill and ate it to increase his extraction range. On his way, he bought some food to eat in the car. It was almost 10 in the evening and Su Jingxing was only having his dinner now. Usually, Ji Yubo would ask after him out of curiosity. But presently, he was wearing a solemn expression and an anxious gaze. Instead, Su Jingxing was curious and asked him what had happened. He found out that the killing of the Black Tiger gang's branch this time had implicated the innocent. A barbarian warrior in mechanical battle armor was also deployed this time. However, it met the siege of 2 Black Tiger gang's protectors who were 6th-grade experts. In the end, during the fight, a wall was destroyed and the battle area was extended beyond the Black Tiger gang's branch. It caused a huge commotion and destroyed a stretch of buildings, implicating hundreds of people. The casualty situation was unknown, but a conservative estimate was at least 30 people. In other words, this matter had blown up even further. Ji Yubo's anxiety came from the innocent people. This was because one of his big brothers lived beside this Black Tiger gang's branch that was wiped out. It was unknown if he was dead or alive. Yet Ji Yubo had a task to complete. Even if he wanted to check, he had to hold back for the time being. Su Jingxing didn't know how to comfort him in this situation. In the end, he and Kong Dabao both kept quiet. In the silence, the corpse transportation truck sped along. When they arrived at the scene, crying and shouting entered their ears. Su Jingxing got out of the car and what greeted his eyes was a long stretch of buildings that were either semi-collapsed, had cracked walls, or huge holes. Half the houses on the street were destroyed. The streets were full of potholes, broken street lamps, crushed cars, incomplete bodies, and dark red blood. Horrifying. A battle between 2 6th-grade martial artists and a barbarian warrior in mechanical battle armor had implicated half the streets and resulted in hundreds of casualties. Faced with the wails everywhere, Ji Yubo forcefully suppressed his panic and led Su Jingxing, Kong Dabao, and the others towards the building where the Black Tiger gang's branch was located. There were already people doing resuscitation work on the street outside. The injured were sent to the hospital by the ambulance while the dead were temporarily placed aside. The corpses in the building, however, had not been taken care of. They must be moved to the crematorium as soon as possible. Corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it? Yes. Corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it? Yes. Su Jingxing extracted cards as he walked briskly. When he arrived outside the Black Tiger Gang's branch building. Barbarian corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it? Yes. As he responded inwardly, he quickly swept his eyes around and found the corpse of the tall barbarian in mechanical battle armor lying in the ruins of a collapsed house beside the building. Su Jingxing happened to extract it as he passed by the entrance. At the periphery of the ruins was a corpse with a group of people standing beside it. Corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it? Yes. Even though Su Jingxing only took a quick glance before following Kong Dabao into the Black Tiger Gang's branch building that contained several huge holes, he still recognized half of the people in the group. The Martial Suppression Office's Western District Commissioner of Command, Chi Jiaochen. The head of the Black Tiger Gang, a fifth-grade expert Yang Chinhu. The Martial Suppression Office's Western District Chief of Control, Sun Yi. The City Guard of Qinghai City, Pan Biming. The Sect Master of the Flying Cloud Sect, Shen Xinlin. The General of the Prefecture Army, Chu Weiliang. As well as the number 1 expert of Qinghai City, Commander of City Governance of the Martial Suppression Offices, Li Linzhou. The group of big shots surrounded the ruins and had a discussion in low voices as they looked at the barbarian warrior in mechanical battle armor. Su Jingxing activated his advanced hearing and after listening for a while, he figured out that the corpse placed outside the ruins was one of the Black Tiger Gang's 2 protectors who fought the barbarian warrior. These 2 6th-grade experts fought the barbarian warrior. In the end, one died and the other was heavily injured. The severely injured one had already been sent to the hospital for emergency treatment, while the dead one was temporarily left at the scene. In other words, the reward in the card that Su Jingxing had extracted would be quite significant. He didn't have the time now to find out what it was. One of the reasons why so many buildings were destroyed was because the mechanical battle armor worn by the barbarian warrior had terrifying destructive power. One punch could penetrate a wall. Together with the barbarian warrior's own strength, it crushed buildings faster than an excavator did. Of course, the real reason why the aftermath of the battle affected half a street and left hundreds of people either dead or injured was that the 2 protectors of the Black Tiger Gang were not strong enough. Although they were in the 6th grade, they were defeated in the battle and wanted to escape. The barbarian warrior had chased them to the street. If today's situation had been like what happened, the previous Black Tiger Gang's branch was destroyed. Where Yang Feihu and the barbarian warrior had perished together in the branch, there wouldn't have been so many casualties. In a way, the Black Tiger Gang was also responsible for this incident. The perpetrator was clearly targeting the Black Tiger Gang. Never mind if only the Black Tiger Gang members had died. Now that it implicated innocent people, that would not do. The culprit must be found and eliminated, and the Black Tiger Gang must be dealt with as well. The impact of this incident was terrible. One didn't need to guess to know that starting tomorrow, the Western District would be in a state of panic. The Black Tiger Gang had a total of 7 branches. Including the headquarters, there were 8 locations to attack. Now that 2 had been destroyed, there were still 6 places left. As long as the perpetrator was not eliminated, the people around these 6 places would have to bear the threat of an attack that could befall anytime. No one could give any guarantees for such matters. To put it bluntly, the perpetrator had brazenly wiped out the Black Tiger Gang. In doing so, only have they slapped Li Linzhou in the face, they have also slapped the faces of all the government organizations in the city. If the perpetrator was not caught and executed, they would all have to step down from their positions. Fortunately, the barbarian warrior had been exposed in this operation. With the officials going all out, the clues were quickly found. Su Jingxing moved the corpses out of the building. As he passed by, he heard someone picking up a call. We've locked onto the area where the barbarian first appeared. Good. Everyone was excited. Su Jingxing was also secretly delighted. He was curious as to who the mastermind behind the massacre of the Black Tiger Gang branches was, but he didn't think much of it. However, the corpse of a barbarian represented something good. Martial arts practice card. The help that the martial arts practice cards gave Su Jingxing was very important. Of course, could the martial arts practice card be extracted from all barbarian corpses? Su Jingxing was not sure yet. He could only say that there was a higher probability. Whether it was true or not, he would have to go back and check. And this wait lasted the entire night. By the time Su Jingxing finished moving the corpses and documenting their information, it was almost dawn. He only found time then to take out the card from the barbarian's corpse and check it. And as it turned out, it was not a martial arts practice card. A misjudgment. The card he extracted from the barbarian's corpse was not a martial arts practice card. Instead, invisibility card. After reading the description, Su Jingxing was stunned for a moment. It seems that the invisibility card is not inferior to the martial arts practice card. As the name suggested, the invisibility card could turn Su Jingxing's entire body invisible, including his clothes. Duration, 15 minutes. If this ability was used well, it really would not lose out to the martial arts card. Of course, both cards had their own distinguishing traits. It could only be said that extracting the invisibility card was not a loss. He was not disappointed. Su Jingxing smacked his lips and happily put the card away. Then, he took out the card from the corpse of Black Tiger Gang's protector and read the description. True Energy Card. It was the same as the one he had gotten from Ouyang Feihu previously, also a True Energy Card. However, Ouyang Feihu's contained 3 years of cultivation. This one contained 2 years. 2 years of cultivation is good enough. Su Jingxing put away the cards and went home to check the rest. He worked overtime last night and was on special break during the day today. Su Jingxing returned to his small courtyard and ate an essence energy pill to get rid of his fatigue and replenish his energy. He took out the other cards and checked them one by one. Essence Energy Card, Strength Enhancement Card, Strength Enhancement Card, Internal Force Card, Skill Card. Most of them were Strength Enhancement cards, while a small portion of them were Internal Force cards. The skill cards contained a few martial arts, but they were relatively ordinary. They were not even comparable to the 7 Steps Fist, let alone the 8 Steps Rising Dragon. After Su Jingxing read the descriptions, he put them aside and didn't even bother to unlock them. As for the internal force cards, he absorbed all of them to replenish the consumption from opening his dantian. The strength pills from the strength enhancement cards were stored away. The same went for the essence energy pills. Compared to the true energy card and invisibility card, these cards were less useful. Su Jingxing had already expected this situation, so he wasn't too disappointed. In any case, he ate the strength pills every day and his strength was growing every day. Essence energy pills were sold for money. In addition, they could relieve fatigue and replenish energy. The internal force cards were still useful after his dantian was opened up. The more internal force one has, the higher the chances of success when one advances from 7th grade to 6th grade. As for how to use it, Su Jingxing wasn't clear. Thus, he decided to put them aside for the time being. After all, there was no harm in accumulating them. As his strength increased, only the corpses of high-level martial artists or mutated beasts would give cards that were useful to him. Su Jingxing was well aware of this. Considering that he was on duty at night, after checking the cards, Su Jingxing took out a human skin mask and quickly disguised himself as Yang Jian. He put on a mask and headed to Fan Chunggong's house where the cash was hidden. Fan Chunggong had a total of 10 properties and 7 lovers. Each of these 7 lovers had a property. Of the remaining 3, one was his home on the surface, and the other 2 were secret chambers. The $3 million cash and the secret manual of 3 origin saber art were hidden in different secret chambers. Fan Chunggong was the only one who knew where these 2 secret chambers were. The first one was located in an ordinary residential estate. Su Jingxing went there first. It was broad daylight, so he wasn't afraid of anyone spotting any abnormalities. In the memories, Fan Chunggong had come to this secret chamber wearing a mask, a turtleneck trench coat, and a hat. Before Su Jingxing entered the estate, he specially bought the same trench coat and hat. After dressing up like this, the people he met in the estate were curious but didn't pay much attention to him. He easily arrived at the level where the unit was located and used the lock-picking skill to open the door and let himself in. It didn't take Su Jingxing much effort to find the 3 million cash. Along with the cash were some secret information. Su Jingxing picked them up and flipped through them casually. They were useless to him, so he tossed them back. With the cash in hand, he left the house and returned to his small courtyard. After hiding the cash, he headed to the next location, which was the second secret chamber. This time, it was a small estate beside the university town. I don't know what Fan Chunggong was thinking, he actually chose to have his secret chamber near the university town. The house is even on the top floor. Again, Su Jingxing imitated him and picked the lock to enter. Standing on the balcony of the living room, he could see the campus of Qinghai University of Science and Technology not far away. Although Qinghai University could not compare to Xuantian University, it was still one of the top 5 local universities. Su Jingxing stood on the balcony and looked out for a moment before turning around. He found the 3 Origin Saber Art secret manual in a compartment in the room. Both Chen Xiaodao and Fan Chunggong had failed to master this saber art. Clearly, it was quite difficult. Su Jingxing opened and read through it carefully. After he was done, his expression turned grim. But not because the content was different from what Fan Chunggong had read. Fan Chunggong did not finish reading it. There were actually two cultivation methods for the three-origin saber art. The first was to use one saber in each hand. A successful cultivation would require 3 hands. This was complete nonsense. There might be people with 3 hands, but they were definitely deformed. Which normal person would keep 3 hands? The second method only required 1 hand. However, it was even more difficult. One has to control 3 blades with 1 hand. At the end of the day, both methods demanded speed. Martial artists who cultivate this saber art must be fast enough when wielding their sabers. That's right, the three-origin saber art was a fast saber technique. It was all about one word, speed. The faster the speed, the greater the damage. If successfully cultivated, it would be very strong. According to the secret manual, the three-origin saber art was divided into 3 parts. Heaven origin, earth origin, human origin. Among them, human origin referred to the ability to mobilize all the energy in the human body and unleash it through moves. This energy could be either blood and chi, strength, internal force, or true energy. As long as there was energy, it could unleash powerful destructive power and lethality. Earth origin referred to the release of true energy and drawing in the surrounding energy for his own use. For example, water vapor, fire, wind, toxic gas, and so on could unleash immense power through the saber art. The final heaven origin was even more powerful. It was a mental attack. Of course, the contents of the heaven origin section was lost and there were no records at all. The earth origin section only had half of the contents. This also meant that Su Jingxing would not be able to learn the heaven origin and earth origin. With only half of the content left, I'm better off not learning it. The cultivation conditions of the only useful human origin is so harsh. 3 blades in one hand, or 1 blade in a hand. Both were difficult to achieve. Being fast enough was easy to say, but there were only a handful of people who could truly do it. Without exception, these people were all body tempering experts. Yes, Su Jingxing finally understood. To cultivate the three-origin saber art, a martial artist's physique had to be sufficiently strong. Otherwise, his arm would not be able to persevere swinging the saber quickly for long. His arms would be crippled before he could master the saber art. Unless it was the Qilin arm. Wait. All of a sudden, Su Jingxing seemed to have thought of something. He pondered for a moment and said, perhaps I can cultivate it successfully even without the Qilin arm.